Bowling is a very interesting sport in the fact that there's a couple different elements that you don't necessarily see in other sports. With bowling, we have an environment, a physical lane condition.
Every time the ball travels down the lane, that environment changes a little bit. It changes faster than grass growing. And so you have to be paying attention to what you're doing. You have to be thinking all the time when you're bowling.
Imagine in a football game, if it starts raining, if they had to change the football and make it a little bit heavier so it still travels through the air the same. Or if it was a baseball pitcher and they had to change the ball that they're pitching because of the rain, affecting the curve. In bowling, this actually happened. It's as much a physical game as it is a mental game because you have to match yourself up to it. You have to figure out, how does my physical game match these lane conditions and the way I'm releasing the ball. So as R&D teams work at this, we are constantly trying to keep up with that and provide our bowlers, the people that love this sport, we're trying to give them the opportunity to score and maintain their game so that they can focus on their physical release, on those characteristics. When we're studying a bowler and we're watching their physical release, we're trying to learn about what changes. What we found is that through studying the sport, we saw sometimes a bowler, because their shoulder movement or their feet changes, they might accidentally thumb it down a little bit and kind of top it. Now the ball hooks too much. So these are common mistakes that we see bowlers create from shot to shot, but when a bowler's matched up, they strike. What we found out is that each bowling ball has unique RG planes. They're a little bit longer, smaller, tighter, more elliptical. They all have a path. They all have a topographical layout to them. And what we found is that certain paths create certain motion. That's where some layouts have the tendency to go long and skid really hard and snap really hard at the back, and others are more arcing and consistent. It's related to these RG paths. So by studying them and anticipating what they're going to be, it's actually given us the opportunity to reverse engineer a bowling ball to try and create what we feel are optimal migration paths. The inspiration behind these RG planes and migration path, it's been a concept or idea that we've thought about quite a long time in the industry. Earlier designs from our company here, we've always kind of known about this, but we've never been able to quantify it or answer the why. I distinctly remember driving through the mountains one day. I was just contemplating, how can we manipulate these shapes? What is it that we can do on the internal part of the components of the bowling ball that can really give us these unique contours? I started thinking about it and I started rotating objects in my head. So I came up with a nice small sphere. I took it and I elongated it into an oval. So by taking it and rounding one side of it, I created more of an egg type shape. This egg shape is much more stable. It gives us good pin, good top weight. It gives us a lot of drilling options. But that alone isn't enough. So that's where, driving through the mountains, all of a sudden it came to me. They didn't drill through the mountain. They followed the mountains. They cut off sides of it, and that's where, instead of drilling the cavity through it, we were able to take this contour and cut it upwards. And that cutting motion upwards, now all of a sudden you see these elliptical planes and they get much more elongated. This creates consistency for us, because now all of a sudden slight variations in release are still going the exact same direction. Maybe a little up, a little bit down, but it's still migrating in the same general path. What's unique about the double cavity design is this 60-degree wedge that creates these long ellipses that we really like. It creates a large cavity in the center of the ball where you typically see your thumb hole. So be it a pin-up layout, a pin-down layout, or even like a stacked layout, any one of these orientations, you're still within this cavity. And that means that the weight block, the heaviest, most densest part of the weight block, remains unchanged. So these RG planes that we've worked very hard to manipulate and create are no longer being changed by your thumb hole. So this is a great thing for us, because we know that no matter what layout you choose, no matter what layout your pro shop professional operator wants to use, you are able to get a shape that isn't being changed by drilling. It's a great thing for us.
We chose the ERG because we were really looking to match up the weight block shape and the dynamics that comes with that shape, with that catalyst core. And when we do testing, we test a multitude of Coverstock variations. Again, we're looking at oil displacement, so we're trying to find the right balance for a Coverstock. We're definitely looking for higher porosity. We're looking for something that's going to be able to absorb and displace and handle a lot of oil. And this is achieved through the microchasms, through that spacing or through those capsules you'll actually see the oil be displaced. And then as far as folding goes, if you look, for example, at the shifting of the plates, tectonic plates in the earth, and we're looking at, are we looking at a central part of the Great Plains portion of the U.S., for example, or are we looking at the Rocky Mountains? You're looking at extreme differences here. And when you're looking for a ball for heavy oil and maximum performance, think Rocky Mountains. And that's what you get here when you're looking at this. And again, we have to balance it all to make sure we don't have too steep of cliffs or we don't have too massive of valleys. Again, balancing is the important key part here in the equation. And we take it very seriously at Storm. We don't just throw Coverstock X or Coverstock Y on a ball and say, let's go with it. We evaluate it for performance, we balance it and compare it with the type of core that we select and put in that bowling ball, and then take a look at the type of bowlers we're trying to fit, and then take a look at the type of lane conditions we're trying to adapt or mold this bowling ball to. And that's why when you see the Crux and you see the ERG Coverstock and the Catalyst core, you see it all put together on the lane, you're going to be amazed.
This is a great technological advancement in bowling balls. The way that the core is designed, wrapped by the cover, we've done our homework on the new Crux. Our job at Storm is to make sure that if you choose a Storm bowling ball, that when you step on the lanes, that you feel like you have the best chance to win, the best chance to knock down the most pins on every ball. We're the Bowlers Company. We're bowlers serving bowlers. I mean, nobody understands the sport better than someone who plays it and lives it. And everyone here loves bowling and has been active in the bowling game. It's a love that we have. It's a passion that we have. And when you put passionate people and great products together, there's no reason to look anywhere else other than to Storm.